I literally decided to film this about 2 seconds ago. Hi folks, Harry here, and welcome back to Other Worlds Than These. Today's video is going to be a 12-hour readathon. I've done one 24-hour readathon in the past, where I read the entire Hunger Games trilogy in one day. I'll link a card up there. But 24 hours, that just made me exhausted, and I just couldn't handle it. I completed the trilogy, but by the end of it, it was 3 o'clock in the morning and I was absolutely knackered. So I've decided to do a 12-hour readathon today, from 10:30 AM to 10:30 PM. And right now it's 10:25, so I don't have long to get prepared. My main objective today is to finish reading The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice. This is the second book in the Vampire Chronicles, which I have just really got started in, and I'm really enjoying this book so far. I'm on page 367 and it's 550 pages, so this is my main objective. And then after that I want to get a decent chunk through this chonker, Desperation by Stephen King. I started this ages ago and then I just started reading other books and I never really got back to it. So I'm about 200 pages in, something like that, 181, and it's like 700 pages, so I can get a decent chunk through this. Bloody hell. But there's also some other things that I want to read too. Actually, I'll take you with me. Welcome to my bookshelf. I've actually done a little bit of reorganising recently, just in case you're interested. Yeah, I've done a couple of things to my shelves. Quite like it. Ignore my massive ass light behind me, but let me just show you some of the books that I want to read. So I really want to get started with the Court of Thorns and Roses series by Sarah J Maas, because the 4th book came out a few days ago and I still haven't read any of the original trilogy, so I want to get started with this, maybe, we'll see. If I really want a Stephen King fix, I've got Revival, which I still haven't read. But there's some others that I've also got my eyes on, so we'll just see what happens. Okay, so it's 10:27, so I'm gonna edit what I've just filmed very, very quickly and then just start filming at 10:30. Okay, it's 10:30, let's get started. Right, so it's 20 minutes later, it's 10:50, and I've just reached page 400, so it's going pretty well. Okay, so I've just reached page 420 of Vampire Lestat. Bloody motorbikes. I'm enjoying this way more than I enjoyed Interview with the Vampire. It's redeeming Lestat, who is the antagonist of Interview with the Vampire, and giving him his own book, his own story, his own reasons for the way that he is. I really, really like Lestat now, but I hated him in the first book. This is character development right here. This is really, really bloody good. I'm gonna move outside now because it's a really nice day. It's like 20 degrees in February. So I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna read a little bit. So hour 1 has been very productive. I have read 90 pages of The Vampire Lestat in the first hour, and that is really, really not bad. Hello. I think I'll just update you again once I've finished Vampire Lestat, so that could be an hour or two. I've only got like 100 pages left, so we'll see. Okay, so it is 12:15 and I've just finished reading The Vampire Lestat. It was so good. I think I'm going to rate it 4.5 stars on Goodreads, because there were some parts that were like a little bit difficult to follow because some of the mythology and lore kind of got a little bit ridiculous. But other than that, I absolutely loved it. 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was very, very solid read. So I am going to read a couple of synopses, just make sure that I didn't miss anything. That's just a habit that I've done. I'm going to research a little bit into like the critical reception, that sort of thing. I'm going to watch a few YouTube reviews of it, and then I'm going to write my own review, and then I'll probably move on to reading Stephen King's Desperation. Okay, so I just finished my review of The Vampire Lestat. The link to my full review is in the description below if you want to read it. So I thought I would make myself comfortable and just sit surrounded by all of my books, with my next book of the readathon, which is Desperation by Stephen King. It's about 1:24 right now, so is that... I've got 9 hours left of the readathon, and I've got between 400 and 500 pages left of this, so I'm just gonna try and get a decent chunk through it. I'm gonna take the dust jacket off because who the hell reads hardcovers with dust jackets on? Actually, that's a massive debate. I want you to say in the comments below if when you read hardcovers you take the dust jacket off while reading. Let me know in the comments. I really, really want to know. So, just gonna get comfortable, read Desperation, which I haven't read in like a month. Like, the last time that I read this was about a month ago. So, I'm just gonna dive back into it. I'm really excited. Hello, so it is now 3:30 on the dot, and I am on page 373 of this chonker Desperation. I'm absolutely loving it. I don't think it's going to be a Stephen King favourite of mine, considering that I have read 50 of his books that are pretty damn good. I don't think it's going to be like in my top 10. I won't need to make another updated top 10 Stephen King books video, but I am enjoying it a decent amount. And actually, I just stopped on this one quote. My dog just barked. I actually just stopped on this one quote that I absolutely love. But he'll come looking, and if he looks long enough and hard enough, he'll find us. When you're in desperation, there aren't that many places to hide. Love that. Absolutely love that. Yeah, I'm 5 hours into the readathon, 7 hours left. I reckon I can finish Desperation and probably start another book as well. I don't think I can finish another book unless it's really, really short, but we'll just see what happens. So, it's 4:30, so I am officially halfway through this readathon. I am 6 hours in, 6 hours left. I am on page 454 of Desperation. So today I have read 250 pages of the Vampire Lestat, because before I actually started the readathon I had already read 60 pages of the Vampire Lestat, so I'm counting that. And I've read close to 300 pages of Desperation by Stephen King. So I'm doing pretty well, and I've got 6 hours left. And if I've read 500 pages already today, there's no reason why I can't read another 500, right? We'll see. I'm really enjoying Desperation so far. It's so creepy, and it's also like criminally underrated. Like, no one ever talks about it. Hopefully it ends well, or ends horribly because it's a Stephen King book. So it is 5:42 and I am on page 582 of Desperation by Stephen King, which means I have 110 pages left. So I'm going to try and finish this maybe before 7 o'clock. I think that's reasonable. And then I've got 3.5 more hours to read something else. Generally, my reading speed is probably faster than I would like it to be. Depending on the book, it can be between 100 and even 200 pages an hour. I'm trying to slow that down a little bit, just because sometimes I feel like I might miss a few things or not enjoy it as much as I probably could. So I am trying to slow that down a little bit, especially for today. But in theory, if I finish Desperation by 7 o'clock, I have 3.5 hours left. Let's say my average is 150 pages an hour. That would mean like between 500 and 600 pages. That's shocking. So if I chose maybe like a 300, 400 page book, I could easily finish that tonight. So should I aim for 3 books? We'll see. But I'm just going to read a little bit more of Desperation, and then I'm going to get some food. Well, this is just infuriating. Goodreads is bloody down. Right, so Goodreads is back up. I've just written my review of it. If you want to read it, there's a link in the description. And this book, it's so good. I highly recommend it. Gotta get changed. Let's read. So now I've just got to choose a new book, and I think I know what I'm going to read. I think I'm going to read A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas. I'm so late to this series, but I've got to get started sometime, right? Funnily enough, even though this is one of the most popular books to have come out in the last few years, I know nothing about it. I know absolutely nothing about it. So I'm going to dive into it. It's about 400 pages long, like, yeah, 416, something like that. And I might extend the readathon a little bit more if I don't finish it by 10:30, but we'll see. I want to read A Court of Thorns and Roses, so I'm going to do it. Oh, and I forgot to mention, it is currently 7:28. Right, this is something that every single fantasy book needs. On literally page 13, we are taught how to say the main character's name. This is perfect because no one in any fantasy book ever has a pronounceable name. So these subtle pronunciation guides, I'm all for that. Fantasy authors, do this. Okay, so it is 9:06 and I'm on page 208 of A Court of Thorns and Roses. I've just been reading non-stop and I'm already halfway through. Really, really enjoying it. But I've got an hour and a half left to finish this book. I've got an hour and a half to read 200 pages. I can definitely do that, but because I might get distracted at some point, I might have to postpone the end of the readathon just an extra half hour up to 11, maybe. But 12.5 hour readathon is not a great YouTube title. I'm on page 304. I have less than an hour left, but I've still got 100 pages left. I think I'm just going to finish this book here. Why not? I've got less than an hour left and I've got 100 pages left. Can I do it? We'll see. Okay, it's 10:10 and I've just finished A Court of Thorns and Roses. I did it, guys. I did it. Yay. I'm gonna write my review of this and then I'm gonna go to bed. Okay, my review for Court of Thorns and Roses is done. Links in the description. Okay, I'm back where I started the vlog. 12 hours later, and I have bumped my way through 3 absolutely fantastic books. So let's just do a recap. The first book I read was The Vampire Lestat by Anne Rice. I rated this 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was absolutely fantastic. And I read 250 pages. Then I read Desperation by Stephen King, which I also rated 4.5 out of 5 stars. And this I read 510 pages of. And finally, I read A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J Maas, which is 419 pages, and I read this all the way through. And I rated it 4 stars. So 250, 510, and 419 all adds up to 1,179 pages in 12 hours. That blows my mind. I'm so proud of myself. I hope you've enjoyed this vlog. If you did, please give it a big fat thumbs up. If you want to see any more videos like these, let me know in the comments down below. All of my social media links are in the description below, and I will see you next time with another video. Goodbye.